Hi everybody and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront opinion today. So today I thought I'd speak a bit about Richard Tice because I don't really talk about Richard Tice very often. You know, Richard Tice is a MP that I actually really like because unlike their leader, he tends to talk about a lot of things, whether it's to do with business, finances, how bankrupt the country's going, and he'll also talk about immigration, and he'll talk about a vast different amount of subjects which are affecting the country all the time. And yesterday at the annual Reform UK conference, he spoke about their tax cuts that they were looking at doing. So at the last election, they said they were going to make £90 billion worth of tax cuts, which is going to be across a whole different selections of things to do with taxes. And he's come out now and said we're going to have to have another look at this. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, all you're doing is backtracking. No, it's actually a wise thing to do, because the reality is the next election isn't going to be probably until 2029. I know Reform think that there's likely chance of one in 2027 with how badly our Labour leaders running the country, and our Chancellor at the moment, who hasn't got an absolute clue, in Rachel Reeves. You know, so there is an argument you could put forward, but within the next year to 2 years, we could have one. And if you take a look at who our new deputy leader is, in David Lammy, I wouldn't at all be in the least surprised if we had one by 2027. But the reality is it's probably going to be 2029. Now, the problem is, I wouldn't even be talking about, you know, tax cuts, because they're running the finances so badly. We're going bankrupt. It's a lot worse than it was when they took over. You know, so the reality is, how can you actually realistically talk about being able to make tax cuts? That is probably what you're going to end up doing, but you've got no idea, because you've got no idea what the finances are going to be like in 4 years' time. You know, we could end up having to get a bailout by the IMF. You know, we could be paying billions and billions of pounds to organisations around the world just to save our asses, because Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer have done such a bad job. And that is the position that we could fundamentally face ourselves being in. That's not to say that's where we will be. So, in my opinion, Richard Tice is absolutely correct to say we're going to have another look at it, because the position of the country is going to be a world of difference. So, what I'm going to say for today is, do you think Richard Tice is correct? And if he is correct, to put it on hold and take another look at it, where do you think he should actually, if he was actually to make any tax cuts or make promises for tax cuts for in 2029, where do you think he should actually start taking a look, if he was to be made Chancellor, for where we could actually make tax cuts to actually hopefully help the economy grow, because over the next 4 years it's probably going to shrink like nothing else on this app. So let us know what you think, but for now, thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you all again a bit later.